Hey, everybody, welcome to the Leader Lab. This is Leadership Shorts, quick thoughts to help you level up your leadership. My name is Chad Wright. I'm the founder of Forward Partners. I am joined by my partner in podcasting, Emily Grace Deal. Emily, what are we talking about today?
Today we have a question. We have about, I have a team member who is stuck. How do I help them?
So this is interesting to me because team members getting stuck happens constantly, right? And we're not typically good at helping them get unstuck, are we? Like
No.
there's a process there, and I think
it seems to be kind of a daunting process.
it is, because it's so much of it is, hey, they're not doing a thing we need them to do, but underneath that is usually emotions and things that are buried.
Something you have to
Yeah,
unravel.
we're not good at unraveling and dealing with, and so I think because we're not good at it, the experience we have had is organizations will just take them and do one of two things: fire them, which if there's that constant churn, that's actually really difficult because you're new people in, new people out.
Well,
Because
and anything you did unravel, you're having to start fresh, and everyone's gonna have something.
everybody's going to have something going on,
Yes.
right? And so they either fire them or they just shove them in a corner, which is somehow even worse. Like they stick them in a corner where hopefully they can
Someone
only
else
do
can
so
deal
much
with you.
damage. Yeah. You are now someone else's problem at a different level that I don't deal with very often, right? And we see that where you look around the organization and eventually they hit a wall and go, oh my gosh, we are out of corners to put people in.
Well, and that's had me thinking, because it could be a corner that you don't have to deal with, but then that person now that has to deal with them is now coming to you going, hey,
Yes.
this is still a problem. And you're like, I thought I got rid of that.
Yes. And so if we can learn as an organization how to get people unstuck, because we're all susceptible, I think, to those really hard seasons where stress hits, burnout really kicks in, and we just get stuck. We get in this, I just don't know how to move forward. I don't know how to do better.
Yeah.
We're all susceptible to it. So if we can get good at it as an organization, now we become known as one that develops people. Now we can take those people that we would lose all of our investment if we just let them go, and we can actually start to regain some of that. And that
Right.
becomes pretty exciting.
Yeah, investing your time in them so that you have something better out of it. Because, again, everyone's going to have something.
Yeah.
And if you can kind of work through that, then on the other side of that, you have a better relationship. You have a
Yep.
stronger person who's able to do it better in a healthier place. So it's a better situation.
Well, because I think what's interesting is if you're stuck and you have a leader that comes and invests in you and helps you get unstuck, like you're dedicated at that point. I think you're right. I never thought of it that way, but there probably is a new level of relationship that happens between that person, the leader, the organization, and there's a lot of benefit
Well,
to
because
that.
I do think we tend to kind of have that disconnection where it's like, oh, this is just a job. This is just something that I'm doing. But you have to look at it as a relationship. All of that is people.
Yep, it's all people, and we are complex. So we run into this problem all the time. So we developed a framework to really help organizations learn how to navigate this. And I love step one is first give them hope they can get unstuck.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that season in your life where you were stuck and you just had no hope it was ever going to change? Like, those are hard,
Well,
aren't
and it's
they?
even hard to acknowledge that's what it is. Like, okay, what is it that's doing that? Why? Oh, I don't have hope. And putting that word to it and that
Yes.
label on it is super helpful
Yes.
because then you can kind of start to identify it and go, okay, then what's the opposite of that, right? How do I give myself hope in the positive ways to see the future in a different light?
And we have that ability as leaders because the hope really speaks to mindset. Ultimately, if I have no hope when I show up, I'm going to show up as a version of me that continues to be stuck. If I have hope, now I'm going to show up with a different mindset that says, hey, I'm capable of getting unstuck. I am capable of moving forward. And if I've got a leader who believes that for me, and that's the hard part is sometimes as a leader, we want more for our people than they want for themselves. And so there is this, we have the ability to instill hope. And so that's step one is help them have hope they can even get unstuck.
It's cool that hope is kind of a contagious thing, just like burnout or anything else is.
It really is. It's kind of the opposite of that, right? If you've got burnout on one side that spreads like crazy, you have this ability as a leader that is magical to bring hope and empathy and love and grace and all these things that cause people to grow. But we have to be healthy to do that. And so if we can give them hope, that's that first piece is mindset, because your mindset then kind of really dictates those actions. And so if we can show them the roadmap, so give them hope they can get unstuck, and then say, hey, here's one or two steps. Here's what I'm seeing. And we don't have to have the whole roadmap because sometimes that's a lot if they're really, really stuck.
You think of like the big ones you have to unfold. You can't unfold the whole thing at one time, right? You have to just like have one
blocking
piece.
the whole windshield.
Yes.
We don't have, I don't know if we have any listeners that are, under
Listen.
our ages, but they don't get that. They're like, what are you talking about? It's all on my phone. But that's a good analogy. Like, you don't have to have that whole roadmap, but if you can just show them, here's one or two next steps. Now we've got a starting point. We've got hope to do it. We've got the mindset to do it. And now we kind of have a roadmap. Yeah. How are we going to get there? And then I like this next piece, and it's really around this idea of agreement and commitment. It's not just, hey, I've got hope for you. Here's the roadmap. Go. It's, I've got hope for you. Here's the roadmap. What are you seeing? Mm-hmm. And part of this agreement piece is we're going to co-create. I'm gonna start to guide that path forward, but then you, as the person who's stuck, can start to dream a little too and go, oh, and yeah, what if this was step 3 and what if this was step 4? And now we're working on this together. Mm-hmm. Now we're likely to get buy-in. And so that co-creation, once we set that agreement, now we can have something to commit to. And it is not expectations. This is why I think performance improvement plans almost never work, because they don't feel good. It's, hey, here's the things you suck at and the things that I expect you to do better at, right? There is no buy-in there versus an agreement. We agree how we're going to do this together, and now we're committed. Now we are all in.
My input is in there. I see that we can see both additions to it, and we've all built this together.
Yeah, so. And now that with that buy-in, and once you have that agreement and that commitment, it gets to the final piece, which is accountability. And I think this is the agreement gives us the framework for accountability. Yeah. And part of that accountability really is it's understanding this is a 2 steps forward, 1 step back process.
Right. And that's that real big vulnerability piece, because then, like, if you do have issues and there is somewhere that it's not feeling as good, or you're not getting as far, you're not seeing as much improvement, then it's like, okay, why am I not? And then why is that? And then you kind of reevaluate, and you can fix that
and that takes
open another piece of the map.
Yes, it's that constant communication, right? And so that's where the 2 steps forward, 1 step back, the 2 steps forward, great, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate those steps forward. Let's have more of those. When we have the 1 step back, that's where the accountability is. That is the, hey, don't forget about the agreement. We agreed to this. Why are we seeing a backward step? And if we'll engage and communicate about that every step of the way, that's where people start to grow. That's what human growth looks like, is that 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So
you're able to open up and be like, okay, I didn't get to that point. I am accountable for that. And then why? Let's fix it. Let's move forward.
I think that this basic framework will really help organizations do this. So give them hope. Get that mindset right. You are going to be okay. We can do this. Give them a roadmap. What are those 1 or 2 next steps? Mm-hmm. Have them help you create the rest of that roadmap, an agreement and a commitment. Once we're committed, now we can hold each other accountable. Now we can communicate about this on a regular basis. Yeah. And what we see is organizations go from we're just shoving people in corners or firing them to we're developing them. We're helping them grow, which is that's our responsibility as leaders.
Yeah, you're going to have a more genuine situation there. You're going to have something they're going to be able to thrive, and so are you.
Yep. I love it. That's a great question. If people want to send us questions, Emily, where do they send them to?
lab@forwardpartner.net.
lab@forwardpartners.net. If they want to find us on all the socials where we are constantly putting out content about this, where do they find us?
@forwardpartner.
@forwardpartner, singular. We are all over the place. We're trying to give away everything we know, everything we learn as we're on the ground doing this work. Emily, thank you for joining us on this and doing this. Danny, thank you for producing. Wilco Workspaces, thank you for partnering with us on this podcast. We will see you next time right here in the Leader Lab for Leadership Shorts.